Welcome back. As we promised, we are going to tackle a very important aspect or side of the COP27 of the UN Climate Change Summit taking place in the Red Sea Resort of Sharm el-Sheikh, which started on the 6th of November and inshallah is going to continue until the 18th of the month. Well, one of the most important reasons behind the success of this conference is full coordination and cooperation among different concerned bodies. But since the president of COP27 is our top diplomat, our foreign minister, so diplomacy had the lion's share, the big role. To discuss this and to shed more light on the importance of diplomacy and the importance of the efforts exerted by Egyptian diplomacy to make the conference a story of success, we are very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, former Assistant Foreign Minister. A very good morning to you, Ambassador Bayoumi.
Good morning, good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you. And before going into more details, we are all proud of what's going on in Sharm el-Sheikh. We are all proud of the wonderful organization, of how we received the thousands of top guests who were here to participate in the important gathering. But when it comes to a veteran diplomat, to our diplomats, I think their pride is different. The way they are looking at the summit is different. The way they really appreciate every single step taken by Egyptian diplomacy to make it a story of success is different. Tell me your impression about what was going on through the past 7 days in the Red Sea Resort.
As a matter of fact, this is normal from our diplomacy. And really, I feel whenever I do something in our diplomatic work that as if I am fighting for my country. It's not an easy task because everywhere we are representing our country, we are the people on which any foreigner would judge who are the Egyptians. So we take care of this point totally. But I think, thank you for your words about our diplomacy, but I think this is really what is happening in Sharm el-Sheikh is a collective matter. Every single taxi driver, the gentleman who is staying in the reception at the hotel, all these details are very important.
Sure.
We cannot work in a sort of separate islands. So it's a coordination among all the people. And it's well known that Egyptians, by nature, they like the foreigners. Any one of us would appreciate to talk some few words in English or French, or even if a Russian gentleman is asking for something, we are trying to understand him.
Yeah.
So, but coming to our diplomacy, it's old. We celebrated last March 100 years of our modern diplomacy, but the history is talking about 2,000 years before Christ.
Yeah.
Our diplomacy with the first treaty in the world, where Ahmus, the king of Egypt, went to Laziqiya in Syria to liberalize it from the attack of the Houthiyyin. So it is an old diplomacy, old tradition, and a diplomat is raised to be proud of his country and proud of himself.
Amen to that. This is exactly, by the way, what I said, sir. The key reason behind the success is coordination and cooperation among all concerned bodies.
Yes,
but
yes.
I was speaking about diplomacy in a specific cause. The preparations ahead of the conference, they were very active and they took such a long time. For example, COP27 is dubbed the COP of Africa, and we exerted the utmost efforts and we seized all opportunities to promote the African cause regarding the climate change. And we said it in all domains that Africa needs another look, other steps. Even if we had taken such small steps, there is still a long journey. How do you see the Egyptian diplomacy efforts to promote the African cause regarding climate change?
This is the point. You are right, because the conference, after all, is taking place in an African country, which well known everywhere. We are very acceptable face in Africa because we are Africans, because we are Muslims, as Al-Azhar has a big role in Africa because we are Copts and our church is doing quite good job in Africa because we are white and the African are proud that there are white Africans. Because Tutankhamun was black and they are proud that there is a black civilization. Many reasons, and now our experts are covering the whole continent. One nice thing I want to explain here, that our diplomacy doesn't cost a lot, because some people were comparing our diplomacy with some big countries. And I always draw the attention that the American embassy in Cairo, it has diplomats and employees much more than the whole Egyptian diplomacy all over the world. So it is one side I want to talk about. Also, some people were questioning how much it costs us to host a sort of very important and big conference like that. As a matter of fact, we gain, not cost, because the United Nations is sharing the cost. You have seen President Biden declaring $500 million from Europe and Germany to help Egypt to take
green transition.
Yes, and many things. Our hotels are benefiting from that. Our tourists
fully booked.
Sort of propaganda for Egypt everywhere. Yeah.
Sir, and it's not by chance that the U.S. climate envoy is a former Secretary of State. The COP27 president is our top diplomat. Of course, this is not by chance. They were chosen carefully because they are the ones who can lead this matter or can guarantee that this is, inshallah, is going to be a story of success with all the deals, with all the accords, with all the agreements which were signed and to be implemented on the ground. One of the most important things which were said by Kerry, for example, this is the COP of implementation, not the COP of mottos. How do you see that?
This is very important word. It is the secret behind the success. And our leader, President Sisi, mentioned it. Implementation in two ways. Implementation to fight against things which are annoying our environment. Implementation about what we promised to give as finance. Because according to my experience, many countries give their word that they will pay this or that, but in practice, they do not implement what they decided or declared to do. So it is our task, Egypt and the developing countries, especially in Africa, because we are suffering from this much more than we are adding the carbon, for instance.
We are the least contributing in carbon emissions and the most exposed to the dangers of climate change.
Exactly,
Sir,
because we live, as we say, in a small village.
Yeah.
We all enjoy or smell the same oxygen
air,
or
yeah.
the same carbon.
Yep. Sir, also very important meetings took place and they are going to continue to take place on the sidelines of the conference. Last but not least, it was the meeting which took place yesterday when Foreign Minister Sameh Shukri received a number of congressmen. How do you see those meetings on the sidelines of the event? Sometimes they are even more important, not more important than the core of the conference, of course, but they can result in very important steps, or at least to have all divisions closer, to come out from these meetings with new visions, joint cooperation in various domains. True?
This is one very important result of a conference like that. That you are in one place and you can make hundreds of meetings. I think if you come to figures, I used to see in a conference like that tens of thousands of side meetings between one-to-one or some regional groups. taking Sameh Shukri as the head of our diplomacy. He met his counterparts in United States, and it's amazing to mention the representation of the United States by the president, by the head of the Congress, by the foreign office, by special representative. This is a very heavy representation of the United States and many other countries. So it means that they are giving Egypt all the concern. And then Sameh Shukri met with the Swedish foreign minister. They decided to have a meeting in Sweden next year for the businessmen. Also, businessmen has a chance to meet each other. Investment is the word there. So many results can be realized according to those meetings. And really, this is a very important task there. We have to collect all those positive results of Sharm el-Sheikh, and I'm quite sure that we are up to it, and we shall do whatever it takes in order to make the utmost that Egypt and its partners benefit from such conference and such meetings.
All the time we're speaking about win-win situations, and as you've kindly mentioned, this was a platform, and it is still a platform where all sides meet: international economic institutions, banks, heads of NGOs, heads of governments, heads of states, you name it. Sir, also, this is to represent, in a way, the new Egypt, the new republic. I mean, we received hundreds of thousands, let's say tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands, from 30 to 40,000 delegates, I think. I think every one of them is going to return back to his homeland as one of our ambassadors, speaking about what he or she has seen here in Egypt. So, as you've kindly mentioned, sir, also, this is what we call free propaganda. If you can agree with me on that, and how?
I agree 200%. And I want to tell you some good piece of news also. In my whole life in diplomacy, I have never seen a diplomat, foreign diplomat, served in Egypt unless he fell in love with Egypt. Those who work in Egypt, they like it. They come back. I want to give you one example. The last German ambassador, he finished his mission and he retired. He bought an apartment, and it's well known that the ex-German ambassador is living in Egypt. He talks good Arabic. His wife is Lebanese. This is a good example how the foreigners are looking to our country. We are a very open country. We are open people. We like to talk with our partners. And of course, Egypt cannot live without living with its world. We are in the middle of every war in the world.
Yeah.
That's why the Suez Canal is important. That's why 11 million Egyptians are living abroad as our ambassador, working for the benefit of the host countries they are working for. Many examples, tourism, take the tourism also. We hope that our figure of the number of tourists will be doubled soon because of this conference and other ways we are doing in order to attract more investors and more tourists and everywhere. Mind you that 47% of our production is services.
Sure.
We are not an oil country. We are a country of agriculture, industry, and services. But services is almost half of our exports and half of our production.
American President Joe Biden said it himself. He came to the mother of all lands, to Egypt. Well, Ambassador Gamal Bayoumi, a former Assistant Foreign Minister, sir, as usual, I enjoyed our discussion. You are always an added value to our programs. Thank you very much. Have a very good day. When we say that Egypt is a key player in the region, we mean in the Middle East, the Islamic, Arab, Mediterranean, African arenas. We are in the middle of the whole world, and it's our destiny to be a great big country. Well, a new interactive map reveals the technologies that could one day power our cities and help countries reach net zero targets. The map shows multiple smart innovations, including hydrogen-fueled buses and a football stadium powered by wind and solar energy. Let's watch, and then we are going to return back with more, so stay tuned.
A new interactive map reveals the technology